Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR Today. It's Monday morning. It's March 22nd, 2021. I'm the man they call Meathead, and can you smell it? Spring is in the air. We had beautiful weather yesterday around the Milwaukee area, around the Fox Valley area. I don't know how the rest of the country was feeling, but spring is in the air. I can smell it. It doesn't smell like rotten hot dog water. It smells like spring. That's my daughter's words. Joining us this morning, as always, she is the Linda K to the PWR Today team. I couldn't think of anything else clever. Good morning, Linda K.
Good morning, Meathead.
I tried, and I stammered over it.
Oh, gosh, no worries. But you know what I was smelling yesterday, that fine spring day?
Mm-hmm.
Some grilled steak. I got
Ooh.
the grill. I got grilling, baby.
Me likey. I almost said long time, but, that's your thing.
Yes. Team long time.
That's right. Hey, you know what? Speaking of our thing, PWR Today is brought to you by Manscaped.com. Now that spring is here, now that is in the air, here in Wisconsin, when it hits 50 or 60, we're usually out in shorts and tank tops, out grilling, as Linda told you. So
and
make sure. Yeah, exactly. And flip-flops. Make sure that you're all manscaped if you don't want your winter fro hanging out. So get on over to manscaped.com. Use the promo code PWR. Save yourself 20% plus the free shipping. Get it all trimmed up for the summer at manscaped.com. And then, me wearing my big Festus shirt with this tongue sticking out from collarandelbowbrand.com. I got it with my PWR 360 code, which saved me 10%. Plus, Uncle Al's got free shipping over there for orders over $40, I believe, still. So head on over to collarandelbowbrand.com and use the promo code PWR360. Linda K, yesterday was a glorious day. And I don't mean Robert Roode glorious. I mean, it was just a glorious day. Plus, at night, we capped it off with the final road bump. I'm so excited here. We capped it off with the final road bump on the road to WrestleMania. It was WWE's Fastlane 2021. It's still in the Thunderdome. Being the baseball fan that I am, keep wondering, how come we haven't heard an announcement? What are they going to do? Tampa Bay Rays are going to want to start playing baseball any day now. They got to get that field up and running. But Linda K, Fastlane last night. Overall, before we go match to match, what were your thoughts on the pay-per-view?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Kind of left me wanting more, though, just because it was almost a precursor to some matches that are pretty much, can foresee taking place at WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. So it was just another stepping stone, if you will.
Yeah, and this was a unique pay-per-view. This was a pay-per-view that was available on the WWE Network, and for the first time ever, available on Peacock. Now, Linda, did you watch on the WWE Network or on the Peacock?
I watched on the Peacock because I already switched over.
Gotcha. As well as, as I did as well. I got to tell you, the picture quality was fine. Absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful high definition. Me no likey, no pause, no rewind, no fast forward. Me no likey at all. I don't know if that's their plan, but that's got to get fixed.
Or if you happen to start it late, not realizing that you couldn't just restart the pay-per-view and catch up or catch it in replay right after. That wasn't an option either, but I don't know.
I was going to say, I hope that the reason that they kind of cross the streams, excuse me, the reason they crossed the streams on this one, having it on the network and on the Peacock, was to shake out the bugs, shake out what we like, what we don't like. And I hope that we're very loud and very clear. We need to be able to start from the beginning. We need to be able to rewind, fast forward, pause if we need to use the restroom. This is not a live show to us. We are not in the building. We can't tell the wrestlers to stop. We want to be able to pause it so we can watch it. We enjoy our program with our control. So Peacock, I hope you're listening. We need that feature now.
Yeah, you know what? I just realized it reminded me of ordering pay-per-views back in the day where you just saw it live. You couldn't.
Yeah, what is this, 1997?
I was going to say 95, but yes.
Are we in your house? Is that what it is?
Oh, yeah.
We need to get that fixed in a major way quickly. So I jumped in. Luckily for me, I was, the broadcast journalist that I am, and I jumped in apparently, in our PWR Today text chat that we had going. I jumped in during the pre-show match, which was Mustafa Ali and Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle defending the United States Championship against Ali. Takeaway here is that Riddle does win with a really unique move off the top turnbuckle, but Ali either has lost his entire group of Retribution or they all kicked him out because they all attack him at the end.
Right. I mean, he's been screaming at them the past few weeks. If he would have won the match, maybe that would have been more, I don't want to say deserving, but something where his words would mean something more versus just being screamed at and then him losing. This was bound to happen. We think we've seen that the last few weeks, just how he treated Retribution. Not saying that they were all lovey-dovey to begin with,
right.
But this was a way to break them up. I would like to see this breakup lead for us to see each person being themselves and showing their faces.
Yeah, where's Dominik Dijakovic? Where's Mia Yim? Let's get them out. Theo Madden.
Yeah, I mean, seeing not Mace and T-Bar attacking Ali after the match made me realize they would be a great tag team, just them alone. Yeah. Big men powerhouses. So
yeah,
you brought up a good point. Does this mean does Mustafa Ali get kicked out of Retribution, or does this mean he's just a solo act now and Retribution is done?
Right. And I got to be honest, let's ask that question because we're not even at a year for Retribution. Is Retribution over? And I mean, what's the lasting memory that we have of Retribution? To be honest, I think it was hot garbage.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the way they weren't really quite welcomed by the audience. I mean, again, it could have been different if we had a live audience while they were
could have been
building Retribution, but I don't think it caught on quite as they were hoping. So maybe this breakup is a bit overdue, but I mean, with the timing and the way they're working this out, I'm okay with it right now. It's kind of weird because I think this is finally a way that they're getting some love from the fans.
Right. So, I mean, if you think about it, really, they were doomed from the beginning because WWE promoted that this group is called Retribution and they're attacking us. That was the end of it. You just quietly let them do what they're doing and don't acknowledge it. Don't acknowledge that you know these people and what they're doing. This group was doomed from the start. So let's move on. We'll probably hear more maybe on Monday or even on Friday. Because remember, Retribution used to go after Raw and SmackDown. And then they got contracts. And that was the end of them. The opening match was the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defeating SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks and the Royal Rumble winner and her opponent at WrestleMania, Bianca Belair. I thought this was going to happen. I mean, if you heard Matthew and myself talk on Friday morning, that we did not see Sasha and Bianca winning the belts, but we did see the rift beginning between the two of them. Look, Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax are a dominant women's team right now. I think they're going to have to defend probably against every women's team at WrestleMania. I think that's their match. Is they're going to have some massive tag team battle royal of some sort. But right now, it's still that they're the champs, and Bianca and Sasha will now go one-on-one heading towards WrestleMania.
Yeah. I know last week Matthew brought up on the show, how can we continue this back and forth banter between Sasha and Bianca leading up to Mania? Yeah. But we got a good taste of it literally last night by that slap. Woo! That was a good slap.
Yeah, she slapped the taste out of her mouth.
Literally. So I'm glad that they did not win the titles because this is a big marquee match. We got to continue this feud with them. Show more intensity. Let's drive it up. We got 3 weeks till Mania. We can make this look stronger. And, we were talking as well about Sasha kind of being on the brink of being a heel once again. But I think this would be the setup and the lead in for her to be the face. Bianca, be the heel. Bianca, obviously the face. And go from there. But, we did get Reginald. That was an important
We did get Reginald.
Factor.
Yeah. And there was a backstage video, that was a network exclusive. They pushed the interviewer away, and Reginald did the interview. And honestly, you know what? Shayna Baszler had the best. That's the best I've seen her on the microphone right now. She goes, look, We blew through them. We blew through the Royal Rumble winner. We blew through the SmackDown Women's Champion. I knocked the teeth out of the Raw Women's Champion. We are what is going right now. These belts are the most important thing. I was like, wow, hey, where have you been? Because that promo was fantastic.
Yeah, if they give her that speaking platform more, I mean, she's definitely a badass. So let's let her keep rolling with this.
Yeah.
I also foresee, I know you mentioned possibly a women's tag battle royal at Mania, but how about a women's tag ladder match? That would be a first, I think, for the women's tag team division. So
yeah, and they've got enough women's tag teams now that this can be done.
Yeah, another history-making moment for the women's division.
I think so. Let's talk about the next match. It was Big E, the Intercontinental Champion, retaining against Apollo Crews. Linda, what happened with the finish?
Well, we couldn't see it, but we did see Lady Ref Jess there point to Big E, so that's how we knew.
I saw her hit the mat about 5 times.
Okay, but then the bell did ring after about the 5th or so, count, but it wasn't, the announcer didn't fully. The
announcers did a terrible job on that too, because Corey Graves consistently says, I'm not quite sure what happened. I'd have to see the replay. And then they dropped it and moved on.
Yeah, apparently Greg Hamilton didn't either, because there wasn't a winner announced. You just saw the ref pointing at Big E, but then due to, oh my God, why am I blanking?
Big E and Apollo Crews.
Follow, thank you. Due to Apollo pointing at Big E, that's how you knew he lost.
This was a tough shot for these two talented guys to take. And Apollo screaming at Big E after he beat him post-match, this isn't over. This isn't over. But this finish was,
yeah. Well, this, hopefully they get another shot at.
Honestly, I think it's going to WrestleMania, to be quite honest.
Yeah, and I think that could be a great build-up. I mean, they already have a lot of heat on one another. This faulty finish or whatever happened needs a bigger finish. Let's have this big match lead us to Mania, because, again, we're seeing that other side of Big E that I'm liking. Yeah. I love his goofiness, but this is just showing how much he wants to remain Intercontinental Champion, and against Apollo Crews, and the new Apollo, I should say. I like it. Let's keep this rolling to Mania.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. So there was scheduled to be a Braun Strowman Shane McMahon match last night, and they show backstage footage of Shane training and hurting his knee, him walking around, and instead of it says Strowman Express, it says Stupid Express on a shirt. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, Elias jumped in and said that he wanted something to do with Big Bunny or Bad Bunny, but Shane said, "I'll tell you what. Why don't you help me out and take on Braun Strowman tonight at my place?" Braun Strowman blows through Elias, and Shane McMahon nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy.
I figured that knee injury was, part of Shane just backing away from this match, or just being. It's just, oh gosh, it's just so weird with everything. Like, I'm so surprised they had that match on Raw, and then we got that green slime, and then this is obviously still playing into a Shane.
To be honest, this is going all the way through to WrestleMania. They're not going to realize that nobody likes this. They're going to continue to do it.
They can, but the flow of it is just off. I mean, from the start, and the whole stupid thing. I mean,
yeah, I don't like it. That's a naughty word in our house. We don't say that word.
Mm-hmm.
Seth Rollins defeats Schinsky and Nakamura. This was set up because Schinsky came to the honor, I guess you can call it, of Cesaro. This will set up Cesaro going against Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Good match. A lot of good points. There was a great move that Seth Rollins did where he went for, I think it was Shinsuke's move, paused, wrapped his foot around Shinsuke's head from behind. I thought it was very clever. Yeah. Caught Graves off guard, too. He goes, "Whoa, did you see that?"
Yeah, I didn't hate the match. I actually like that matchup between the two of them. I mean, if it was built properly, that could be a marquee match at a bigger pay-per-view. I mean, obviously the storyline's not there. It was last minute and all, but between the two of them, I don't hate it.
Drew McIntyre defeats Sheamus in a no-holds-barred match. So that is a specialty match, Linda Kay, man they call Meathead. Drew McIntyre came dressed out as Braveheart.
Yes.
I loved it. I mean, Drew McIntyre has been embracing more of the stereotypes, which, I mean, they're all true for him. I mean, they make sense. So it's not like he's, playing some random character. I mean, he's just leaning into it more. And I'm fine with it. I'm absolutely fine with it. But McIntyre defeats Sheamus, a big shot right through the Thunderdome, screens. Also, another big spot where Sheamus was holding McIntyre on his shoulders, jumped off the railing through the table. Now, I think the table spots are done. I mean, after the whole Nia Jax and Lana thing, they can construct a new table in 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. I mean, these tables don't mean anything anymore.
Hey, when McIntyre was standing on it, I was like, please don't fall, please. Or the table, please don't break. It brought me back to that table collapse at NXT. But yeah, obviously, after that, they know certain things to do with the tables to not have that ever happen again. But yeah, they need to have the Spanish announce table right next to them. That would mean something more. So
that way we can beat that one up, and the other one's actually legitimate. But the tables are, I'm done with the tables. It's got to stop. And I can hear our friend David, the Zohan hero, in the back of our heads talking to us. Well, I mean, they got to do these spots. They're made. I mean, Dave, we don't want the inside business part of it. We want to hear it as fans how I'm supposed to believe these tables. One, they set it up where a chunk of the table was such a devastating piece. It was styrofoam. Obviously, this was a brittle table, and it was meant to fall apart. So, I mean, how is that supposed to be serious?
The piece of the table used.
Yes.
For that DDT that hurt Drew more. I was like, no. Yeah. But, I mean, the match itself, I did like it. I mean, they sure had a lot of welts on one another again.
Oh, yeah. I love
Drew spots.
I was going to say, I love Drew putting Sheamus on the road gear, to move him around. So smart because, it takes all the pressure of pushing around a 260-pound man.
Yeah. We got to see a little more of the Thunderdome, too.
Yep. Yeah.
But so my question is this the end of the whole McIntyre Sheamus?
I think it's done.
Feud? Okay.
I think it's absolutely done. I think there's nowhere else for Sheamus to go. And what's left for Sheamus now?
Andre the Giant Battle Royal once again.
That's too bad. Because, I mean, you walk a guy up, you make him so legitimate to walk up to this pre-WrestleMania pay-per-view, and then he's in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
If he is. But yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. I mean, like, he was getting a push around the same time as Cesaro, but it looks like Cesaro's going to get his match at Mania. So.
Yeah, so let's move on to the match I was super excited to see what they did with. Alexa Bliss, Randy Orton, one-on-one match, male versus female. There wasn't going to be a lot of touching. I could almost guarantee you before the match, you know what, there are not going to be any physical spots, and that's fine. Alexa Bliss gets the pinfall on Randy Orton because Alexa Bliss playing her games. Randy's starting off the match and he's doing his posing in the corner. He's already starting to drop that tar, that black liquid out of his mouth, right?
Yeah.
Here comes Alexa and she's playing games with him. Things are falling, tripping, fireballs. And then Randy is just standing there in the ring. Here comes a hand through the ring. I'm like, yes, fantastic. This match by far was the best match of the night, I thought, as far as storytelling, and has been put together so well. There's been so little contact with Randy and Alexa, because Alexa's been carrying all the heat, pun intended, from, Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, being burned alive, right? So the Fiend comes up through the ring, grabs the arm. He is a crisp, brand new Fiend, and he looks like he's been melted. His one eye is completely clear. Gets Sister Abigail. Alexa gets the pin. 1, 2, 3. Your thoughts on the match?
I loved it. I too enjoyed that match the most. I mean, the visuals itself.
Right.
The match
storytelling with the visual. Yeah.
Yeah. That squid ink coming out of Randy's mouth to start everything. And then Alexa looking the most scariest, but still very attractive and cute still. But scariest.
Just bubbly scary. Yeah.
that she's looked ever, and just the mind games, the toying around, the close calls where he's like, "Are you trying to kill me?" And she's like, "Yeah." But my favorite part was definitely the Fiend showing up, though, because again, a fan of horror movies. It was a cross between Freddy Krueger, being burnt, Jason coming out of the water because he just burnt his hand that was decomposing or burnt or something, and
fantastic.
Coming out with, like you said, the melted mask. Yeah, I loved it. I was, we pretty much figured the Fiend would appear at the pay-per-view, or at least, there's a possibility he could have showed up, maybe the Raw before Mania, but I am so glad he showed up last night. We needed something big to have to continue this. I mean, there could have been more mind games leading up, sure, but just the teasing, like Alexa
the
with
pacing
that.
on this is fantastic. I mean,
Yeah.
we're not getting it all at once, but it's not taking forever. I love the pacing.
Yeah, and then she got the pin, unique pin, I must say,
Yep.
and the Fiend just standing tall behind her. That I loved it, and we've got 3 weeks for some more scary, spooky, kabuki shenanigans.
Yeah,
and I'm ready for it.
I'm ready. Yep. You know what? This is probably my favorite one going on right now. Probably my favorite.
I just hope that their match at Mania takes place at Mania.
Yeah.
Whether it be, there's got to be a unique stipulation, but we'll see. But I hope it's not. I mean, they don't need to do more cinematic matches if they have a live audience.
Right.
So we'll see.
Great stuff. Absolutely great stuff. Finally, the Universal Champion, Roman Reigns, does defeat Daniel Bryan, Special Enforcer Edge. You knew that big money, big main event Jay was going to come in, get involved as well. Referee bump. Edge gets in. Uso goes after Edge. Mistaken identity. Daniel Bryan gets the chair on Edge. Edge takes out both Bryan and Roman. And again, Roman Reigns, which looks like he's going to lose it. He did very faintly tap out with nobody around to see it. Finally gets the pinfall victory. Your thoughts on the main event?
I think it took a bit to get to the finish, or a little bit more. I mean, they were doing some good grappling and some good technical wrestling, and I enjoyed that. It's funny, we text one another saying like, "Oh, is this match gonna go the whole?" Would you say the whole 50 minutes? And I was like, "Well, it sure seems like it's getting stretched," but it still worked out. I liked how everything wrapped up toward the end, how it led to that eventual pin. Having Edge there as the ringside enforcer, you knew something was going to happen with that, because he was just, he was just staying there. Okay, that's cool. The ref
I wonder, I mean, because they really sold this. Does Daniel Bryan get put into a triple threat at WrestleMania?
I don't think so.
I don't want it.
I mean, it's usually like 1, if not 2 times max after a match that you get a rematch. Say you got screwed and you get another rematch.
Yeah. No, I don't want him in there. I think he should wrestle Jey Uso at WrestleMania.
Yeah, that has to be it. I would love that match, by the way. That would be something phenomenal. They already have a storyline built in. Heat. I would like to see that. It was cool seeing Edge, though, hitting both Bryan and Reigns, just because it kind of brought back like a heel Edge.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool to see. But I liked the way the sequence to the end, the involvement with Jey Uso to begin. He wasn't supposed to be at ringside and still got involved because ref was down, and having Edge bring in, do some work with the chair.
Yep.
I like it.
All he needs is his boy Christian to come back so he can do concertos, but Christian Cage is somewhere else.
Yeah.
Well, that was Fastlane. For comparison, I brought this up when we were off air before we started. WWE's website has Fastlane 2019 results just underneath it. Do you know how many matches they had at Fastlane 2019? Take a guess.
7 or 8?
11. 11 matches. What a difference 2 years is. And I'm pretty sure that pay-per-view probably ran 3.5 hours. Let's run down some of these matches just as who was in the company and who was in big matches, and now how the business in 2 years has changed. The New Day defeat Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev as a team. Nakamura and Rusev as a team. SmackDown Tag Team Champions Usos defeat Miz and Shane McMahon. Shane attacked Miz after the match. Asuka, the women's champion on SmackDown, defeats Mandy Rose. The Bar defeat Kofi Kingston on a 2-on-1 handicap match. The Raw Tag Team Champions, The Revival, defeat Aleister Black and Ricochet and Bobby Roode and Chad Gable in a triple threat. United States champ Samoa Joe defeats R-Truth, Rey Mysterio, and Andrade. WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, the Boston Hug Connection, defeat Nia Jax and Tamina. Jax and Tamina brawled with Beth Phoenix and Natalya. Okay. WWE Champion Daniel Bryan defeats Kevin Owens. And look who else was in the main event. Mustafa Ali. He was in a triple threat match. Look at that. Becky Lynch defeats Charlotte Flair via DQ. AJ Styles attacked Randy Orton after a Running Elias concert. And then the Shield defeat McIntyre, Lashley, and Baron Corbin.
The Shield were still around in 2019?
That was their last ever. It's literally said, the Shield dispensed Justin for the last time ever at WWE Fastlane.
Okay.
Unbelievable, huh? But just think of all the names that were there.
Yeah. And not just in other promotions, but just placement of where they were in the pay-per-view, character, these tag teams that are now with other tag teams.
Right.
It's crazy.
And think about this, too, that Shane attack on Miz was in front of his dad. Remember that?
Yes. And then they had the match at Mania where Miz took that big bump. Yeah. Off the whatever it was, the platform.
2019 Fastlane, only 2 years ago. It seems like a completely different company.
Yeah.
Well, that was that, but we still have PWR draft stuff. We are talking to the accounting firm of Dewey, Cheatham & Howe. This was one of the last 3 shows left, technically 2, but NXT added a 2-night pay-per-view extravaganza, 1 night on USA, which will not count. The second night exclusively on Peacock right before WrestleMania. That will count, and it has been announced that it is official. Karrion Kross and Finn Balor will be the main event on the Peacock night. So there's some Dave Hero points for you, David Zohan Hero points. We will have totals tomorrow morning on PWR Today and how we look going into the last 2 events before the end of the season at WrestleMania. Linda, I'm excited. I'm excited to hear what the accounting firm has to say.
Yeah, I mean, there's a possibility that there could still be some changes, I hear. Something.
Sure, yeah, there could be changes. There might be. There was a group message going on. I think the man they call Meathead, myself, may have made a move. We'll have to see how it plays out. So tune in tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning, for PWR Today, and we'll have all the PWR draft results coming off a big pay-per-view weekend. So for Linda Kay, I'm the man they call Meathead. Hey, thanks for stopping by. So long, everyone.